It's 8/18/18. I think that's interesting. And it is a Saturday night, and just got back from a church conference, award conference as we call it. So about 3 to 4 times the size of a regular church meeting for about 2 hours tonight, and it's awesome. It's the adult section, so that's only adults are there. I heard a couple kids crying, but not many. So that's kind of cool. So it was awesome. Saw some people I haven't seen in a while, so that's really neat. But wanted to just talk about this past week because I haven't been able to do a diary. And so I was at Betsy's for about a handful of days doing Cheryl's ashes. And I'm looking at a picture of Cheryl right now, spreading her ashes on their lake home. They have a lake home, and then there's a little, up in Michigan, about an hour from Betsy and Jim's cottage. And so it's a really neat small lake that they had a cottage on, which I know they had for a long, Cheryl had bought it a long, long time ago. Anyway, very special to her, and that's where she wanted her ashes spread. So we went and did that last weekend, last Saturday, actually, so a week ago today. So her husband Jimmy obviously organized that, and only 2 of her sisters were there, but then her niece Melissa was there and is fabulous and is almost like a reincarnation of Cheryl. Her spirit is. So it was great to spend a lot of time with her. So it was very peaceful, actually spreading the ashes on the lake. And Betsy, thank goodness, had her GoPro, and we were on the second boat, which is facing the other boat where Jimmy was and pouring the ashes, and Betsy just captured it beautifully. So what was awesome is then the next day, Betsy and I went out on the beach, and back when Cheryl had passed in April, went down to Florida for her celebration of life, I wrote a eulogy, if you will, or just my thoughts on her, and the family didn't want anything said then, and then didn't want it during spreading of the ashes either last weekend. So there just was something within me that just very, very much wanted to speak that. So Betsy was great enough to have a GoPro again, and we went out on the beach off of Jim and Betsy's cottage the next day. And Betsy and I walked down the beach. Water is very important to Cheryl, so is the beach. So we went there and we taped what I wrote, and then Betsy, said some just beautiful comments, and it was awesome. It was awesome. So I hope the family, can now, especially Jimmy, can put this not necessarily behind them, but some be able to be peaceful with this. I know there's a definitely stress between Jimmy and Cheryl's entire family, and I don't think that's going to get any better based upon the conversation with Cheryl's niece, Melissa. And that's really sad. I think they're going to just move away from him, and he only has his sister left. Everybody else in his family have passed. So Jimmy has had a lot of loss in his life, and it's kind of sad. So anyway, then got home and was able to see a missionary that was around, not one that had to do with my conversion, but one that was there maybe a year and a half, 2 years later. Her name is Tamara Ann Bartholomew. Bart. So she has been gone 2.5 years, maybe 2.5, 3 years or something. So she and her husband, who they've been married for 2 years, came into town. So I saw them on Thursday the 16th. And that was awesome. They were here for a couple hours, and it was great to hear their love story and to meet him and get updated. She knew nothing about my health recovery, and so that was really awesome. And they loved Hugo. Who doesn't love Hugo? Everyone loves Hugo. So they were really playing with him a lot, so it was awesome. And then later that night, I was so excited. I went with the Stansberry family, Becky, Trevor, and their daughter Rachel, to the Cincinnati Tennis Masters. And oh my gosh, that is, of course, I haven't been able to go in 3 or 4 years or something like that. And it was awesome. And saw lots of top players, all the top players actually. And so they've got their own box seats. But they know people associated with the Lindner family, who that whole complex is a Lindner family tennis complex. So, and the Cincinnati Masters has gone on for like 30 years, so it's very high profile and part of the ATP. And anyway, it's kind of a big. No, it is a big deal here. So anyway, so we went, and so the Lindner Center seats that we were then able to move to were baseline seats, second row. You could almost touch the players. I mean, if you had really super long arms. But, and then we were told, well, you're probably going to be on TV because we're like right there. So just, don't pick your nose or anything. And it was awesome. And so then the next day, Friday, went to the day session. So I was there almost all day until 7 o'clock at night. And that's when I then saw Federer play. Right. I was there from the afternoon to the evening. Oh, it was awesome because right when I walked in, and they even had parking passes for me, so I barely had to walk. And so right when I walked into the stadium, they were announcing Federer. They were announcing Federer coming out on the court. And I'm like, oh, way to go, Roger. Way to be timing it perfectly. As soon as I come in, you come out on the court. Thank you. So it was awesome. Great tennis. It's a great event that they put on. So I'm just like over the moon about this. So I had been texting Betsy, and then I actually sent emails to Dad because I know Dad would understand. I know Bets really isn't into tennis or anything, but I think she knows how excited I am about it. But Dad would understand the importance of that. So I'm sending him, just email and send pictures showing him how close I am and whatever. So then, but Betsy did understand because she wrote in her Friday post, or her Friday blog, about it, like added that to the beginning of it, and it synchronized so beautifully with her blog topic. So it was pretty awesome. She and I were channeling the same things because as I was there both days, I was watching some of the coaches. And they don't really, in tennis, the coaches don't interact that much with the players. There's a lot of limitations to that, but it happened a couple times. And I started to just think, as much as I have had so many coaches throughout my life athletically, obviously Betsy's my health coach, and I just was thinking so much about how it synchronizes exactly with sports. And that was Betsy's topic of her blog, which she wrote a while ago. So I thought that was fascinating. We were just thinking the same thing, may not have been at the same time, but anyway, it was really cool how that all worked out. So tonight we had the church conference, it wasn't the ward conference, it was the stake conference, and that was awesome, as I said in the beginning here. So loved it. It's always good to be at church. And then tomorrow morning we'll have it again. It won't be the same thing. It'll be a different message. But then I'll bring Mary with me, little rock star Mary.